What is up, guys? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Welcome to a morning CPI report live stream. Your host, Crip No Fud. Let's jump right into this, guys. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day today. Not literally. And we are definitely going to be watching the CPI report that's actually dropping in about 10 minutes from now, guys. You guys can see that the markets are anticipating that we might be getting a decent CPI report. We are going to cover everything here. Let's let everybody trickle in real quick. Before we even get going, make sure you guys slap those likes. Let's just hit those likes, get it out of the way. What's going on, Cowie? What's going on, brother? Doing good. How are you? Doing good, man. Surviving out here. So like I said, we are waiting. CPI report's going to drop in literally less than 10 minutes as of now. You guys can see as of this morning, the markets have started to, what I'm guessing is anticipate that we might be seeing a solid CPI report coming out. Obviously, right now, if you're looking at the numbers, this is before they drop, we're forecast to come out core inflation year over year, 3.2%. Previous month was 3.2%. So they're expecting that we're basically going to flatline for right now with inflation. Inflation year over year, they're actually expecting it to come down. Previous was 2.9, coming down about 0.3 at 2.6, and then inflation rate month over month flatline at 0.2%. So you guys can see really what we're focused on is going to be this core inflation and this inflation year over year. These are going to be the two metrics that we're waiting, that we're going to watch, that I think are going to be mostly the market movers. So different scenarios. If we do get some numbers that come out that are possibly lower than expected, that's going to be a great thing, right? I think that the markets are going to most likely rally. If we do see that inflation is starting to come up a little bit, like let's say we're forecasted to be around 3.2 and we get 3.3, I'm like trying to contemplate. I'm like, how do you think the markets are going to react? Most likely the markets will most likely react negatively, but I don't think it's going to change the stance on what Jerome Powell and and what the Feds are already anticipating doing in regards to reducing interest rates, right? I think they've already pretty much figured out what they're going to be coming out with in September, which is literally, I think, a week from today, if I'm not mistaken. We can actually verify that. Yep, so 7 days from now, we will have our FOMC meeting. Now, looking at the FOMC meeting percentages right now, you can see that 71% of the market is calling for some kind of a small, conservative 0.25%, maybe a 0.5% reduction in interest rates. And then you have 29% going for a little bit more aggressive at around that 0.5%, 0.75% decrease in interest rates. So we'll see how this fluctuates as the inflation numbers come out. We technically have about 7 minutes until those numbers are going to be coming out. Fifi, what's going on, brother? Give me a number. What's your prediction? How much will Bitcoin drop this month? And Rodney, what's going on, brother? Prediction on how much do I think Bitcoin will drop this month? To be honest, bro, I will say if we zoom out and we look at Bitcoin as the last month, and what do I think is going to happen for this month? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we just basically trend sideways. I don't think that we're going to see a massive sell-off unless something crazy happens. I don't think that we're going to see a massive sell-off. I don't think that we're going to see a massive run. I really don't. I'd be happy if we did, but I don't see anything as far as us going on for a massive run. We might see somewhat of a movement towards the upside, right? And maybe September, I was saying this back in August, I wouldn't be surprised if September ends maybe in the green, but I'm not expecting it to end in the green in regards to up 20+%. If we are in the green, we'll probably be up maybe a hair, a few percent, but I am anticipating for right now, the way the charts are looking, that we might see Bitcoin kind of consolidate where we're at right now, especially just because we have the FOMC meeting in about a week from now. There's going to be a little bit of volatility, but with the FOMC meeting, that might bring some upward movement, right? So that's why I kind of lean on maybe sideways. If anything, maybe a smidget in the green as we end September. We'll come back and we'll obviously have to fact check that and see if I'm correct or if maybe I'm completely wrong and Bitcoin's at $80,000+. So we're seeing that typical volatility right now, guys. We do have the CPI report coming out in about 5 minutes, and look at this. We are zoomed in at the 5 minute, but you can see that obviously the market looks like it's running, and then boom, we see a nice solid red candle right now dropping down to the support level at 56,700. So we do have about 5 minutes. We'll let it play out. We'll probably go over some other stuff real quick just to let the time fly. Mix, what's going on, brother? And everybody that just joined, welcome, guys. Make sure you guys slap the like. We do go live every single day, usually in the evening time. Obviously, for days like this, when we have CPI report, FOMC meetings, stuff like that comes out as far as numbers that usually drop early in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing live streams, obviously, in the morning. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys can get those alerts whenever we do go live, because we randomly go live. If it's something crazy going on, I don't care if we end the stream right now and like an hour later, freaking, Bitcoin's running like crazy, we'll come right back on live and we'll definitely go through it. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Let's look at the bubbles real quick, kill some time. So you guys can see, as far as the bubbles across the board for the daily, you guys can see we have kind of tricked back into the red. Jasmy's down 5%. Arweave was down yesterday. Now it's up 7%. ICP's been killing it, still up about 7%. But looking at the rest of the market, right now is technically alts are in the red. And I'm wondering if people, and let's look over here, I'm wondering if people are possibly moving out of alts for right now. Look where we drop back down to. We're back into fear, guys. Look at this. Remember I told you guys this yesterday that we have been fluctuating like crazy on this fear and greed index. And look at this. Yesterday we were back into neutral at around 47, and then the following day we're right back down into the mid fears at 32. And you guys can see Bitcoin's dominance. I don't know if I pointed this out yesterday, but it was down to about 56%. Today it is up about 2%, which is telling me, because the market cap is still relatively around the same, that people might be moving their assets from alts for right now and possibly moving it into Bitcoin with anticipation of whatever's going to come from this CPI report. All right, guys, we have 3 minutes until the CPI report drops. Let me do a quick poll. I know we don't have a big crowd in today. A lot of people will be watching after the fact. Let's do a poll. What do you guys think? Are we headed up or are we headed down after the CPI report? What do you guys think? So as we started the stream earlier, you guys can see that we technically, like I said, this morning we started off, we were down around the mid 56,000, somewhere around 56,400. And you can see as the markets were kind of waking up here in the States, right? Anticipating, CPI report is going to be dropping soon. We were on a move towards the upside. Now that we're getting literally less than 2 minutes before the CPI report, you're getting those jitterbugs. And we did see not a massive sell-off, but we did see probably the biggest red candle that we've seen in the last 12 hours just form literally in the last 5 minutes. So I think it's just really a lot of people don't know where we're headed right now in regards to this CPI report. Remember, we're looking for 3.2 or below. Anything higher might spook the markets and possibly, it will most likely be negative towards, towards crypto and any risk assets. Fifi said he hopes Bitcoin drops to 42 to 44K. And right now, you guys can see as far as the poll, we have 75% of the chat saying we're heading down, and we have 25% saying we're heading up. Let's see. Do a little trend for right here. You guys can see Bitcoin, obviously, since we did, when was this? This was on this morning. Crap, I didn't realize we dropped all the way down. This was in the middle of the night, actually, yeah. Dropped down. We dropped all the way down to about 56,000. Man, something in my eye. All right, guys, we have 1 minute. 1 minute, guys, until the CPI report drops. And then after the CPI report, we're going to go over the debate last night. We're going to go over some articles and all that good stuff. So stick around. Make sure you guys slap those likes. We're not doing bad here. So let's see here. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, guys. You notice how I'm not opening up any leverage trading today? I'm not going to be trading leverage trading on days like this. All right, look at this. CPI report just dropped. Give it a minute. All right, so actual, we just met the forecast at 3.2. Looks like actual for, so this core inflation, we met 3.2. Inflation rate year over year, forecast to be 2.6. We actually came lower at 2.5, which means inflation year over year is still steadily coming down. Core inflation year over year basically flatline. So you guys can see, holy crap, this is why. And you know what's crazy is I was like, I'm going to open up a short. And I was like, nope. Because what happened last week, I was like, I'm not opening up a short. And look at that. Nice little move towards the downside. Just bottomed out so far at around 56,500. You guys can see, obviously, good news is bad news right now, right? I don't know if the markets was anticipating or wanting to see inflation come down a little bit more than what we saw. But if you're just joining, we just got the CPI report. Core inflation rate year over year, 3.2% what it came out. Forecast, it met forecast. Previous was at 3.2%. Inflation rate year over year forecast to be 2.6. We came off of 2.9 was previous, and we met, or actually we exceeded, basically coming lower at around 2.5%. So as of now, you can see initially the markets are reacting negatively. Now I will tell you, days like this, they're all over the place, right? They're all over the place because you'll see us going down, and then in 20 minutes, we'll start rallying up. It's almost like they kind of want to trick and maybe liquidate a lot of people that were anticipating a possible move towards the up or the downside. So you can see, obviously, we are starting to retrace somewhat. We did drop down to about 56,500 for now. So let's check over. Let's look at this real quick. Let me reload this and see if this is fluctuated at all. Has not. This is for the FOMC meeting. I would like to see what these numbers are going to be fluctuating probably up until for the next week in regards to what people are actually anticipating for interest reduction. So let's look at the rest of the market right now. You can see the rest of the market on our watch list is all in the red. Let me move my myself up here, and you guys can see for the watch list, we're basically solid in the red for today, guys. What's crazy is Bitcoin's down. See here, Bitcoin's down. Okay, it's not really down actually. You had that real quick drop, and then we're starting to move back up. Solana looks like it's wanting to run right now. This is why, you know, if I can tell you anything, not financial advice, days like today, you want to be careful with leverage trading, because even if you predict something correctly, like, oh, okay, we're gonna be probably it's gonna be bad, we're gonna move down. It doesn't matter. The market can easily spike up real fast and then drop down real fast. You know, today it's just the volatility is out of control. So, me personally, if I was to be leverage trading, it would be something very small leverage. You know, like maybe a 10, 20x, where I have a lot of cushion both ways, to where if we do see the volatility, I'm not going to get necessarily liquidated. Anybody that right now that's leverage trading 100x, whew. I mean, that my heart goes out to you. So Bitcoin is starting to drop back down, guys. We are starting to come back down. It looks like we have 60% of the chat saying down, 40% saying up. And right now, looks like 67% now down. It's 60% down. Guys, welcome. If you guys are just joining, make sure you guys slap that like. So, we just got core inflation numbers. We are forecast to meet the 3.2, and that's exactly what we did. Inflation year over year, we were forecast to hit 2.6%, and we actually came down a little below at around 2.5. So are these good numbers? I mean, this is how I'm looking at it, right? I think the market was expecting inflation to come down, even if it was just a little tick, right? They were expecting us to come down to maybe the 3.1 or below. We didn't see that. It met forecast, which was basically what we were at previously last month, which tells me that that inflation has, for the last 2 months, flatlined. It's found a some kind of a support level, if you want to call it, right? For thinking about a chart, inflation coming down, it looks like it found a support level somewhere around 3.2% for right now. So with that being said, the markets necessarily off of this initial run right now, they don't look like they're happy, right? The markets don't look like they're happy. Doesn't look like they're reacting positively. Like I said earlier, though, things can look like this, and in 20 minutes, Bitcoin can be at like 58K, right? So you have to be very careful with days like this in regards to, especially like I keep saying, if you're leverage trading, you have to be very cautious. You can easily make a lot of money, right, off of this volatility, but at the same time, very cautiously, you can very quickly get liquidated off these very big and fast swings that we're having for right now. So for now, you guys can see Bitcoin 56,500. Really, if you think about it, I mean, as of last night, we were down to 56K. We're technically still up. We did break out of this small little trend that we did form as of last night, right? We did break out of it towards the downside. So, I mean, you can see that we obviously are in the red for right now. But like I said, things can change at any minute, especially with all this volatility that we're seeing for right now. Gina, what's going on? Jay, what is going on? Jay's in the house. Good morning, guys. Make sure you guys slap those likes. And we're going to get back to the CPI report. We're going to jump back in, or we're going to jump into some articles. Let's just address the elephant in the room, guys. Who watched the debate last night? Did you guys, without getting too political, did you guys notice that Bitcoin was moving down as the debate was going, right? Bitcoin was actually moving down as the debate was going. Now, I told you last night when we did our stream, that necessarily doesn't mean because of the debate. We did have the CPI report that was looming, right? So last night, there could have been anticipation that people were selling off just because they were anticipating some kind of a bad report coming out today, right? So it could have been nothing to do with the debate, or it could have been a mixture of both, right? Remember, for crypto, I'm not getting political, but for crypto, right now you have the crypto party swinging a little bit towards Trump just because of his policies and his acceptance of Bitcoin in the crypto industry as of now, right? So what people are what I'm gathering is that maybe people are thinking that Trump didn't have as good as a night as people were anticipating, and that could have been the reason why Bitcoin was necessarily moving down as the debate was going on last night. It could have been a mixture of a few things that are going on, right? William said, what time does the CPI report come out? William, the CPI report just dropped, brother. It just dropped. So it came out. We met the forecast at 3.2%. That's what they were calling for, 3.2. Basically, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, it looks like CPI report, or the inflation for month over month, or I'm sorry, year over year for core inflation, 3.2%, has basically flatlined as of now. The inflation year over year has actually come down from 2.6 to 2.5 as of now. So TradingView, for whatever reason, they'll have the CPI report for like the first 10 minutes and then they get rid of it. We can actually, let me see something here. Let's just pull up. Uh-oh, they're getting all my information, guys. I wonder if we could just get it off of our Williams predicting that we're going to get a quarter percent drop on the 18th. And you know what's, so let's reload this screen real quick. Let's see if anything's fluctuated since earlier. All right, so you guys can see, look at this. It's funny that William brings this up. So earlier, just 5 minutes ago, this was at about 71% and 29%. You can see we've had a percent move over towards what William basically just said, indicating that we're thinking a 0.25% decrease or ease in interest rates coming up for the FOMC meeting in literally a week from today. I guess what we're seeing is that with this CPI report that just dropped, I'm coming over to TradingView like it still has the numbers over here. They're not on there. But with the CPI report that just dropped, us basically flatlining, really, the core inflation 3.2%, nothing has changed. People are like, all right, we're probably going to see that 0.25%. If we probably would have saw maybe inflation come up a little bit higher, we maybe, it's like I'm on the fence if we would have seen a more aggressive Fed or if we would have seen still that 0.25%. I personally am sold on no matter what the CPI report was going to come out today, whether it be us coming at 3.2 meeting forecast or if we would have came even below or a little bit above. I think that the Fed already has that either that quarter or that 0.5% that they're going to be doing, and nothing today was going to change what they're going to be coming out with in a week from now. So William said if that happens, it's game time for the risky assets. Possibly. What's going on, Light? Light said this is the best time to be alive. Light coming back from the dead. My boy hasn't been around here and Light, where the hell have you been, bro? We're about to send a search party out for you. Larry's saying that they're saying anything higher than 0.25% is a bad thing now. Yeah, so we did cover this. And everybody, if you guys are just joining, guys, welcome. Make sure you guys slap that like. Make sure you guys are subscribed. So inflation numbers just dropped 3.2%. We basically met forecast number, the forecast number of 3.2%. Our previous inflation number CPI report was at 3.2%. So we're basically flatlined for core year over year, right? What Larry was saying is that basically anything above 0.25%, a lot of analysts have been saying that this might be too aggressive move for the Feds, and it actually might signal that the Feds are possibly worried of a possible recession, right? And we've been covering articles that have been saying this for the last week. I've been telling you guys that if the Feds possibly drop that 0.5% and kind of hit a lot of people off guard, a lot of people might look at it as like, holy crap, why are they going so aggressive so fast, right? Is there something that we don't know? Should I be in risk assets? Maybe we're about to get into a recession. I'm going to sell off my assets. That's what analysts are thinking, that investors are thinking if we see that 0.5, right? Versus if we do see that 0.25%, it comes off as a very moderate tone. Everything's fine, guys. We're going to just drop the 0.25%. We'll see how these next, in the next few weeks, the next few months. And I think that if they do the 0.25% decrease, I think they're going to actually, remember, we've been saying that they're calling for 2 reductions this year, possibly September and maybe December. I'm thinking if they do the quarter, that they're most likely going to do it probably 3 times this year is what I'm thinking. Instead of going aggressive, scaring the market, going at 0.5%, they do a quarter September. They do a quarter in November or whatever it is. I think it's October if I'm not mistaken. And then they do another one in December. Let me pull that up real quick. What do we have? So yeah, November and then December. So I'm thinking that they do a quarter for the next few meetings. And let's actually look so you guys can see for November. For November, you have 39%, and these numbers are going to completely fluctuate. Don't take all this with a grain of salt right here. But you're going to see that right now in November, they're calling for some kind of a 0.5 to a 7.5. This is insane. They're calling for, in November, a 0.5 to a 0.75% decrease in interest rates. 52% are calling for some kind of a, what is this? So 5, what are we at right now? We're at what? We're 5.25 right now. Okay, so 36% are calling for another 0.25%. And then you have 55% calling for, and you notice how these just fluctuated. You have 55% calling for some kind of a half to a 0.75. And then you have some people going crazy at 8.6% calling for a half to possibly a whole percent down. I don't know how much I believe all that, but that's insane. And then moving over to December, these numbers, it's like not even worth reading, because as we move on closer to these dates, these numbers are going to fluctuate like crazy right here. So, but you guys can see, obviously, I think look at this, guys. Look at this. In the last 5 minutes, this thing just rocketed up. 85% now are calling for a 0.25% basis point. Isn't that crazy? That is absolutely, it's craziness here. All right, well, we're going to jump back into the CPI report. Let's jump into some stuff right now. So last night, did you guys watch the debate? Kamala Harris election odds increase on Polymarket after Tuesday night debate. Look at Hungry over here. My boy woke right up and he's already trying to start the smoke in the chat. Look at that. So Vice President Kamala Harris' chances of winning the upcoming U.S. presidential election have surged on Polymarket following her debate with former President Donald Trump on Tuesday night. As of now, Harris and Trump are locked in a tie, each holding a 49% probability of victory on Polymarket's $860 million prediction market. Tuesday's debate, the first and likely the last between Harris and Trump before the November election, touched on key national issues such as the war in Gaza and abortion rights. Crypto absence from debate. Now, remember, we did a poll yesterday, and I said, do you guys think that they're going to bring up crypto, right? And I said no, but we did have like 60% of the chat saying yes. And obviously, you guys, if you watched last night, there was no mention of crypto, and we're getting the impression that when you get into these debates, it's such a tit for tat against the two opponents, regardless who they are, that there's just not a lot of time, right? There's not, if you notice, they went through maybe 10 questions, but they fixated on those questions for like 10, maybe a little bit more time, right? So, but you can see majority of the debate was in regards to a couple key things like abortion, right? They focused a lot of time. I think it was 12 minutes last night of the debate of back 2020. You knew they were going to bring up January 6th. You know, you guys know that, and I remember, I'm not going to get political whatsoever, but you guys know that him walking into that Lion's Den, aka ABC, right? The two hosts absolutely hate Trump, right? Then you have his opponent, right, that's going after him. So he, you know, it's just like if Kamala goes on to Fox News, right? You have people that particularly aren't aligned with Kamala, so you might see a debate more swinging towards Trump in that scenario, right? So we saw what happened last night. They were kind of giving these, it felt like these questions were more to make Trump look bad and kind of her pile on, is what it looked like, right? So notably, cryptocurrency was absent from the topic of discussion, despite growing interest in its potential regulation. Despite this, bettors on Polymarket gave Harris a significant advantage, with 94% believing she won the debate, although official polls are not yet to be released. And this is why we're thinking that last night, if you notice, Bitcoin started dropping about 10, 20, 30 minutes into the debate. And what people are speculating is that most likely it happened in regards to because people are thinking that Trump didn't do as well as people were anticipating, right? And you obviously know that crypto market, not every one of us, right? But there's a lot of crypto in this crypto space that are kind of swinging towards Trump because of his acceptance in crypto and his rhetoric right now, wanting to promote and build crypto and keep it into America, right? So policies aside, emotions aside, people that are investing in crypto that maybe are on the fence are possibly swinging towards Donald Trump in regards to his stance on crypto solely, right? So in 24 hours leading up to the debate, Harris's odds on Polymarket rose from 46 to 49, while Trump slipped from 52 to 49. And then on Polymarket, you can see Harris is now tied with Trump. His odds are down 3% since the debate started. I want to pull something up here that I should have had ready. Let's get on Twitter real quick and let's see. You know they got to be going crazy on Twitter right now. Polymarket hits weekly all-time high in user activity tied to U.S. elections. You guys see that? The price turned bearish again. Level to watch. What is this for? I was expecting more on Twitter, guys. What the hell is going on? What is this? So DXY is breaking out to the upside. And that's not good news if you think it'll trigger a dump in both crypto and stocks. A stronger dollar often means risk assets like take a hit. Time to keep a close watch, especially post Trump and Kamala's debate. That's a good point. Let's pull up the dollar and see what the DXY is doing for today. Look at that, guys. I didn't even think to come over to the DXY. But look at the DXY. So the DXY, obviously, if you guys, we did cover this like a few weeks ago, or maybe a week or two, when the DXY started to really cascade towards the downside. But look at that. It looked like it did drop down. It found some solid support. I'm actually going to move this support level down to about there where it bounced multiple times. But you guys can see for the DXY, it did drop down and almost made a triple bottom. And look at this run as of now. This is obviously based off of the CPI inflation numbers. So what it's looking like is CPI report for today is not a good thing for the markets. When the dollar's moving like that, when you're seeing the dollar have a nice pump like this right here is telling you usually risk on assets are inverse, right? Meaning dollar moves up, Bitcoin risk on assets are going to usually move down. And just to clarify, because they did take it off of Bitcoin, but it's still for the DXY, core inflation year over year, right here, you guys can see, obviously, if you just joined, we were forecasted to run at around the 3.2 and 3.2%. Sorry, I was checking something. And we actually came out at 3.2, previously at 3.2, right? So we basically have flatlined for core inflation for year over year. Inflation rate year over year, right? Not core, because remember, core, just to explain core and an actual inflation rate, core is basically they take out some key elements, which is crazy, like gasoline. They take gas out, and they take, I believe, food, if I'm not mistaken, and there might be a couple little key metrics that they kind of take out, and that's what the because they can fluctuate a lot, like, you know, really fast. You know, so the core inflation, they want to take out those stuff and really keep a lot of the broader, you know, more, you know, I guess stuff that the feds are more worried about. But one thing I will say that is if the core inflation stayed the same, a big thing that they take out that actually came down that probably would have brought the core inflation down was U.S. oil. If you guys have been noticing, have you noticed anybody that drives combustion engines, gasoline, right? Gas has gone down, right? Gas is down to 66.89 as of right now. It's gone down all the way from, well, this is the DXY. Let's just jump on gas real quick. Look at the gas chart. This thing has been steadily moving down, which historically, gas actually does do this during an election, believe it or not. Gas does this every election year where it actually will move down. But you guys can see as of 2022, when we hit all-time highs for gas, you can see that we have steadily been moving down. We have found somewhat of a base. Let's see here. You can see we have found somewhat of a base somewhere around that $66.90, I believe. Is that? Oh, I'm sorry, $67, somewhere around there. You can see we bounced multiple times, but we are technically below that support level for right now. Well, we're right on it. Actually, we're retesting it. So something like this, gas goes into not your core inflation, but your actual year-over-year inflation rate, right? And that's why you see that core inflation actually came down. My alarm. You can see the core inflation actually came down from 2.6 to 2.5. Gina said the moderator fact-checked him, but not Harris. It was one-sided. I mean, yeah, I would agree that there was a lot of fact-checking going on just for one side and not the other. But we kind of figured that was going to be going on. You know, it is what it is, right? You go, these news stations, and remember, I'm not getting political, but these news stations, they, depending on what station you're watching, right? We all know Fox is more towards the middle, maybe obviously towards the right. But then you have the other 9 stations that are all either kind of, trying to stay middle but left. And then you have some of them that are just far, like radical left, right? And there's the same thing for the right. There's some news, they're maybe not mainstream, but there are some news channels or outlets that are far right, right? So, I mean, but you have a little bit more that tend to do that on the main media that are far left. And ABC, I would say, is probably one of those, not far left, but they're very left leaning, right? So those two moderators that we're in absolutely hate Trump, right? I think to even the odds, they should have like one person from Fox and maybe one person from like CNN or ABC come in, and they both host the show, right? So it's a little bit of a mixture of both. But when you have just a one-sided news channel, right, it's basically, it was like 3 against 1 as of last night. So, and we knew this was going to happen. You knew that as long as she came in and she was able to, respond accordingly, and keep her composure, that they were going to say that she took the win because of the last debate previously, how bad it was, right, for Joe Biden and Trump. So, damn it. Hungry said I'm being too political. Bro, you set me up. All right, no more political stuff. No more political stuff. Gina said gas goes down every election year, no matter who's in office. 100%. But you know what I'm noticing on this gas is, this is the DXY. What are we on right now? The DXY? Yeah, the DXY. If you guys can see, look at this W pattern that's forming right here. You see this nice W pattern? We might see the DXY start moving up, right? We might see the DXY start moving up. And I'm looking at the charts. If you remember, you know what I'm doing here. I'm looking at previous times to find some kind of support levels here or resistance. Let's see here. So I would say the next spot for some solid resistance for the dollar is going to be somewhere around the 102 mark right here. So we could see the dollar increase strength, which would be bad for the market. But look at this. The dollar's up. The dollar's up today. But look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's trying to make a run, guys. Bitcoin is trying to make a run. All right, we're not going to read any more of this article because I'm being told that we're being a little too political for today, guys. So let's not. I know you guys are kidding, but at the same time, don't you guys get, bro? It's like political years are just like you try to stay out of it. I really do. Like in my everyday life, the last thing, if anybody brings up anything about political or election or anything like that while I'm out and about, I usually just stay quiet because I don't even want to get into it, whether I agree with them or not. I don't even want to get into it. I don't care, right? We all have our own opinions. me arguing with somebody is not going to change anything, right? So what's the point? There's no point in fighting with people, especially friends and family and stuff like that, because after November, it's like hopefully everything gets back to normal, and we can just get back to just normal, whatever the hell it is that you do normally in life, right? Let's look at some charts here. Gina, you're fine. I'm not worried about it. I was kidding around. This is my show. If I want to talk political, I will. But I don't. I don't want to bring up political stuff. So I saw that Jasmy was down slightly today. It looks like, what does it say for the crypto bubbles? Jasmy's down. Oh, now it's only about 2%. So it looks like Jasmy's come up a little bit. So Jasmy right now looks like she's struggling to break above this support level, which is around this 2 cent mark. You can see she's come up twice and been rejected, but it looks like she's also finding support. I believe this is at the 618. So with this very tight range, hitting its head somewhere around the 2 cent mark, but also finding some support at the 618, which is really at the 1.9 cents. Jasmy is basically curling up to possibly have a nice little run here. And obviously this is all based off of what the traditional market's going to do, right? You can also see somewhat of a sloppy W pattern that's trying to form as well on Solana. And there was a couple charts that we looked at yesterday, a couple alts that are doing the same kind of thing right now, where they're forming basically a double bottom, some kind of W pattern, right? You could see that they're just like waiting to just go crazy, right? But they haven't got the initial like the let's go, we're ready to run, and you're not going to get that until Bitcoin can really start getting up to some of these levels, right? So right now, if we zoom in or zoom out on Bitcoin, because right now we were looking at the 5 minute, let's get into reality here and let's look. So someone asked me at the beginning of the show, what do I expect for September? And I basically been telling you guys, as of now, obviously we have the FOMC meeting, which I think is going to be, it's going to finally, it's what we've been waiting for, some kind of reduction in interest rates. I think that's going to give us a nice little run. But what is going to be a big spot, and what I'm curious to wait and see, is this 57.9 area. So you guys can see we've obviously had a trend towards the downside, right? This is just going back to the end of August, right? So the last like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a downward move, right? Trend line. We've recently broke out of the trend line, right? But you can see that we've made a double top, hitting our head at around this 57.9, 58,000, we'll call it, to make it things simple. That 58K we cannot break and stay above, right? But if you look, we were finding some support somewhere around the 56.7, and that's where we pretty much have broke above as of now. We broke above and we're back into this channel. And this is what I was talking about earlier when someone asked me, like, what do you expect, Bitcoin for at least for September? And I expect that we're probably going to see a nice run for the FOMC meeting. If we can't break above this 58,000 level right here, this 58K level, which I think we will, because it's not really too far of a move from where we're at right now. So if Bitcoin can kind of stay around this area where we're at right now, even get some momentum towards the upside, right? Continue this trend that we've had since we've had this local bottom. If we can continue towards this upward move, we might be setting ourselves up for the FOMC meeting, which is 1 week from today, to where we break above this 58K and we can finally start talking about a $60,000+ Bitcoin, right? Now, if we don't break above that 58K and the FOMC meeting comes out, and let's just say we have a run, we run up and we hit our head again at this 58K and we get rejected, I will be telling you guys, the minute I see this happen and we don't break above this 58K, I'm telling you guys that we're probably going to have some downward movement for the rest of September, and it's probably going to end off at a bad note until we get into the following end of the year, the last quarter, which tends to be a good time for crypto, right? So Hungry said he was just playing. He likes to hear different people's opinions. Hey, you know what? I respect it, bro, right? I know you're just messing around, bro. You know I'm messing around with you too. You know that, right? Me, bro, listen, I'm going to tell you, with the political stuff, I'm telling you, you would never see me over here fighting with anybody politically, right? Like I said, it's just not worth it, guys. Don't fight with your friends and your family and stuff like that. It's not worth it, right? They want you to get all emotional about politics. I mean, all I can say is just get out and vote, right? If you have the right to vote, go out and vote and keep that stuff to yourself, right? What did mom always tell you? When you're at the dinner table, when you're at Thanksgiving, what are the 3 things you don't talk about, right? You don't bring up politics, you don't bring up religion, and you don't talk about money. Those are the 3 things that people are usually the most emotional about. So you don't bring those 3 things up, and for the most part, everything should be smooth with people around you. That's what I tend to do with people. If there's just a certain crowd, you can kind of talk political stuff, and then there's majority of the people you just can't, right? So Hungry saying, how long do you think Bitcoin will go if Kamala gets elected? That's a good question, bro. So that's a question that we need to really ask ourselves, because it could potentially happen, right? In either or. I think that with crypto, well, Bitcoin particularly, I think that, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin just broke above 57K, guys. Remember, real quick, Hungry, we're going to come back to this. Remember what I was telling you guys. And if you guys are just joining, make sure you guys slap that like. Yes, the CPR report just dropped. We'll cover those numbers here in a second. We've already covered them like 17 times. We'll do it again. Don't worry. Remember what I was saying about just 10, 20 minutes ago. I said when Bitcoin dropped down to about 56, whatever we were at, because I'm zoomed out. But when Bitcoin dropped down to some lower levels on the initial number report coming out, we dropped down to about 56.2. Yeah, about 56.3. I said, guys, just because we're moving down right now, 20 minutes from now, Bitcoin can completely be right back up. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. That's why I always tell you guys to be very cautious with initially trading or doing leverage trade on days like this, unless you're using some very small leverage and you have a bigger range as far as your liquidity or your stop loss. That's about the only time that I would say, yeah, I'll jump in on some leverage trading. But other than that, it's risky. And if I'm throwing in, I'm going in on a 10x leverage, it's small, right? You have to put a bunch of money in for you to make anything. The risk is too high to lose. And I would rather just stay out of it for right now and let the markets kind of play itself out for at least for today. Now, Hungry, I'm going to get right back into your question. Real quick, I do want to, because we do have some new people that have just joined. As far as inflation for today, guys, we were forecast to hit that 3.2%, which was basically our previous inflation core year over year. That's exactly what we met for today. So it's been a flat line in regards to inflation year over year. Inflation rate year over year actually came down. We previously were at 2.9. Forecast was at 2.6, and we actually beat the previous and the forecast, coming in at around 2.5. So year over year, if you think about it, core inflation or year over year regular inflation as a whole is coming down still, right? We're getting close to that 2% threshold that they're looking for. But core inflation, which, like I said, they take out a couple key metrics out of the core, which is like gasoline, I believe food, and maybe a few other things. Core inflation flatlined, right? And I explained why actual inflation year over year, the inflation rate came down versus core. A sole mover is gasoline, oil. Oil has been coming down like crazy, right? So that's why you're seeing the numbers for the rate year over year coming down, but core was untouched. If they considered gasoline in the core inflation, I guarantee we would have seen a lesser, basically coming under 3.2%. So just to explain that. Now, to get back to what Hungary was asking, he said, do you think that Bitcoin will go if Kamala Harris is elected? And to simplify it, yes, I do. I do still think that whoever gets in office, we're still poised to still see that last leg up for Bitcoin, right? A lot of people, like myself, were anticipating towards the end of this year, maybe into the first quarter 2025 is when we see the top of the market. And then from there on, how long are we going to be up? That's going to be the question. But normally when you look at historically, the bull runs, the we usually top up. It's like a solid month or two run up to the top. We stay around those top levels for maybe a few weeks, maybe a month, and then that's pretty much it. So you can say that if we start running, let's just say, take politics out, right? And we start running next month in October, right? Pumptober. We start running in October. We start moving towards the upside. We're starting to get into that positioning of getting towards the last leg up. We could see it run October, November, depending on how fast it's running, December, January, topping out maybe February, somewhere around March. We're hovering around, all-time highs for Bitcoin. Altcoin season maybe goes into effect. With this kind of scenario, also, altcoin season might be fast. It might be fast where we come in, alts see a crazy surge, obviously post Bitcoin making new all-time highs. We see a lot of money flowing into alts, and maybe it's for maybe a few weeks tops, and then we start our descending towards the downside. That could be a scenario that looks to be in play, right? And then also throwing in that in between all that, DeFi obviously goes crazy as well during altcoin season. So to answer your question, bro, yes, I still do think that even if Kamala if whoever gets in office, I think Bitcoin is going to still do whatever Bitcoin's going to do, right? Now, if a certain, if one side or the other side gets in the office, that might be, long term better or for the worse for Bitcoin, right? We see this current administration right now. We went through a bear market recently, right? And during that bear market, we saw a lot of negative things coming, not only from just us going through a bear market, but coming from the SEC where Gary Gensler's running, right? We saw a lot of him and his goons, coming after the central exchanges, him coming after particular tokens and coins, calling them securities, right? For the longest would not accept the ETFs for Bitcoin, right? We saw almost like this attack on the cryptocurrency in the last few years, right? That's the current administration. Well, Kamala is part of the current administration. So do you think that there's going to be a change in all that? Maybe, right? Maybe she changes her stance. That's why a lot of people are kind of like, well, we see what has happened. Maybe the other guy will be a little bit more pro crypto, right? And then it also helps that he's at the Bitcoin conference, and he's saying that he wants to be pro crypto. We haven't really seen, in action, because when you go back to when he was last in office, crypto wasn't on the forefront, right? Crypto was there, and he actually was negative towards crypto at the time, right? If you guys remember, he did not like crypto. Crypto wasn't around, especially during the elections. No one brought up crypto. Now you go to 2024, and even though they're not bringing it up in the actual debates, which, like I told you guys, those debates, they're basically just, did you guys hear any, I felt like I didn't really get a lot of policy from either one of them, right? It was more of a, well, you said this, what do you think about that, right? To both candidates kind of thing. But we didn't really get into like what we all care about, not only for cryptocurrency, but the economy, just everyday lives, everyday living for us. Whether you've been laid off or you're looking for work. I think this is what people care about, right? Your rent is fucking out of control right now. You're trying to buy a house, right? I'm trying to buy a house. I am buying a house, and it's outrageous, right? I'm seeing what my dollar's bringing me for a house and what I'm paying. I should have a freaking 40-acre, 12-bedroom house, and I'm getting a 1.5 bedroom. I'm just kidding, but that's what it feels like, right? Things have spiraled out of control, and I think that's what they should have focused on last night's debate. Hungry, how'd you get me back on the damn debate? Damn it. He keeps slowly bringing back and getting me back into politics. Jasmy, what's going on, brother? What is going on, guys? If you guys are just joining, make sure you guys slap the like. Come on, we got like 25 people here and 13 likes. Sheesh. I know. Listen, blame Hungry. He's the one that keeps getting me all hyped up on politics. I'm sorry, guys. Well, if you guys are just joining for the 20th time, core inflation rate year over year we met forecasts at 3.2. Our previous was at 3.2, so flatline for the inflation core year over year, and inflation rate, our regular inflation rate year over year, looks like we came down a smidget, down from 2.9 down to about 2.5, which actually is a decent move right there. Believe it or not, forecast to be 2.6, and we beat that at 2.5. So not looking too bad. If you guys were watching, or if you are checking the charts just 10, 20 minutes ago, you're like, oh crap, what's going on? Bitcoin was moving towards the downside. Now, you guys can see we're not looking bad. We're back into this channel. You know what's funny is yesterday I opened up a short, right? And actually sold off somewhere down here for like a 25. I think it was like 30, but by the time I was able to sell it off, because it was like in the middle of the night and I was like half asleep, I ended up moving my position and catching like a 30% move last night on some leverage trading for a short. And I'm glad that I jumped out. Not that I would have been liquidated, but obviously from down here, I jumped out of that short, and you can see obviously we have been slowly but surely moving towards the upside. So I'm curious to see when the markets actually open up, and we're going to actually be here. I'm going to be here with you guys. I'm not ending the stream. We're going to stay here. We have 15 minutes until the actual market opens up. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the traditional market, how the stocks are going to open up, how are Bitcoin ETFs, are we going to see some inflow, we're going to see some outflow. Let's wait, and we're going to find out here, and we'll see. Let's jump in. Let's see if there's any interesting articles in the time being. So crypto ranks as the second most targeted industry for ID fraudsters. Let's see here. Super rallies over 17%, breaking key resistance ahead of no, we ain't looking at that. Let me refresh this and see. Yeah, you see that, Gina? Gina said Hungary goaded you Crip back into politics. You see that? He keeps saying, yeah, bro, no, don't worry, bro, it's all right. And then like the next question, he like will ask me something, not necessarily, but it like leads into it, right? I ain't falling for it anymore. So we've been following this. So basically, Ethereum's founder, his wallet keeps showing up that he's been dumping Ethereum. In the last 12 days, they said that his wallet has dropped about 2.2 million of Ethereum. And what he keeps saying is that he's been selling off for charity. Who knows? I know he does actually. He is very big in charity. So, I mean, it is believable. So, a wallet which received 3,800 Ethereum from Vitalik in August has sold over 950 Ethereum over the past weeks. Now, one thing I'm going to put a pause. Remember what I always tell you guys. When you start seeing these bigger people like Elon, Warren Buffett, Vitalik, you see these bigger players that have billions of dollars and they start selling off, it can be worrisome, right? Because you have the market kind of looking like, what do they know that we don't know? I'm just throwing that out there because we did see that Warren Buffett sold off like a month ago. He sold off, massive amounts of like Apple stock and a lot of other stocks he did sell off, and he's actually holding the most liquidity that he's had in the last like few years, which tells you obviously when people are holding a lot of liquidity, they're usually expecting some kind of a drop and maybe a buy event, that's potentially occurring, right? So according to Look On Chain, the wallet that received approximately 9.8 million in Ethereum from Ethereum's co-founder Vitalik sold 190 Ethereum for 441,971 USDC on September the 11th, which is today. The wallet initially received 3,800 Ethereum from Buterin. How do you pronounce his last name? Buterin? I always say Vitalik. last month, 3,000 Ethereum on August the 9th, and additional 800 Ethereum on August the 30th. Shortly after, it sold 760 Ethereum for 1.8 million, an average of 2,400 per ETH. Before continuing with this subsequent sales. At the time of the writing, the wallet has sold 950 Ethereum since August 30th for roughly 2.2 million. I don't know. I feel like that's not much for him, right? Because I'm sure he's holding, billions of dollars worth of Ethereum. So I mean, if he's selling off a few $1 million here and there, I mean, the guy's got to eat, right? We have 10 minutes until the actual stock market opens up. So let's see how this is going to work. I'm very happy I didn't open up that short. So this is interesting. We've been covering this for a little while. So if we zoom out, actually, let me pull up the different Bitcoin chart here. If we zoom out on Bitcoin, we zoom out, you guys, obviously I've been pointing this out for a while, for the last 2 months, that Bitcoin had been in this descending channel, right? And I said, this is basically what it looks like, is a bull flag. And that's exactly what it looks like. And I said, if this plays out, this is going to be an epic move right here. An epic move if this bull flag plays out, right? So we go back to Twitter, and you guys can see, shout out to Crypto Rover, always giving us these bangers. You guys can see that 2020, something similar happened where we had a bull flag, a descending channel, right? And it looked like everything was over. And then eventually Bitcoin ended up breaking out of this bull flag towards the upside, right? So you can see, obviously this is 2024, not exact chart, right? But similar, very similar, where we're going into this descending channel, right? And we could see a bull flag play out towards the upside. I think what I've been saying is the time frame, right? We don't know when. We could see the breakout starting, this month, next month, right? Or it could be towards the end of this year, maybe the beginning of 2025. We don't know the time frame as of now, right? So with that being said, this channel that we're in, you guys can see that Bitcoin can easily, right, run up to about 64,300 and still be in the channel and still come right back down and chop in this channel, right? You guys can see we've broken out in this channel. This is from obviously our all-time highs that we hit back in March. You can see there's been times where we have broken down to 56 and then ran all the way back up to 72,000, right? Back down to 53, back up to 70,000, right? But I guess the gist of it is that we're making lower highs and lower lows, which indicates this channel that we're in. This doesn't happen every time, right? But there is a big chance that we could see eventually this bull flag playing out, and this could be an epic run. What I keep getting into, the last, honestly, leg up that I think that we have in this bull run. Because if you think about it, guys, if you really think about it, we have been technically in a run since maybe the beginning of 2023, if you really look at it, right? If you see, we bottomed out. Obviously, this was the bear market. Felt like it was so long. It really wasn't. It felt like it was so long because it took a while for us to get down to that bottom, right? And it's going to be the same thing when we get into another bear market, right? But finally, when we bottomed out, this was in November of 2022, almost exactly a year from when we made all-time highs, right? We bottomed out, and you can see since then, from November of 2022, we have been moving up, right? We've been moving up. So where do you consider the bull market starting, right? Do you start it for whatever reason over here? I would say it initially started in the beginning of 2023 when we started actually moving up, right? And that's been the beginning of the bull market. So if you think about it, if we get into 2025, January 2025, that's going to be 2 years of upward basically movement that we've seen. Now, obviously, we have since March, right? So you go the beginning of 2023 to March of 2024, which was about 15 months of upward movement, right? We have seen the downward move since then, right? So would you consider us still in a bull run? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But you can see that we have, since March, been on a downward trend. And that's why a lot of people are calling for this bull flag to play out. So Gina, let's pull up Mog. Let's see what Mog's doing. Still finding that support at that same level that we talked about yesterday. Remember yesterday we were talking about for Mog, it came up and basically got rejected at the 200A. But honestly, not a very good move because a lot of these projects aren't even near its 200A moving average. So Mog has found some support somewhere around this 93, 94 area and has started to at least come up and start retesting the 200A. So if it can continue to stay around this area and retest this 200A, it eventually will break above the 200, which would be a very bullish thing. Hungry said he finally accumulated 100 billion Milady, bro. That's a move right there, bro. 100 billion Milady? That's a bag right there, bro. That's awesome. I'm happy for you, man. That's a move right there. I know when we were like up like crazy, 100 billion was like 40, 50K. If I'm not mistaken, was at least 25K. When we were up in these areas, 100 billion was a big, I remember because I think I had like 60 billion and it was up there. It was like 12 or 14K of Milady. So, I mean, that's a solid bag right there, bro. I'm a little jealous. I need to get my bag up. I've been picking up Myro. I've been accumulating Myro. Not that I don't love Milady. I definitely have plans to pick up more Milady, 100%. I've been picking up Myro as well, though. I actually picked some up earlier when it was down. I think when we dropped down on this drop right here, and obviously down here as well. So just been kind of slowly accumulating. Milady's market cap sitting around a little bit under 60 or right at $60 million. You got to like give it a second because it'll say a number and then it like populates. So sitting around 60 million, still crazy low. Myro I think is a little bit higher. It's probably at around 65. Look at that. I swear I did not look that up. 65 million. Troy, what's going on? NFK to the moon. NFK, obviously, this is our native token right now. Not looking too bad. We are technically down 3% for the day, but as like I always tell you guys, Solana starts moving, we're going to move, guys. No worries. So right now, buying in at these prices is a freaking steal in my opinion. I'll probably pick up a little bit more today as well. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. That's right, it's Wednesday, guys. No FUD Koala Wednesdays. So if you are in the group, make sure you guys are picking up, even if it's like $1. Today's the buy day. All right, the markets are opening up in literally 30 seconds. Let's see what's going to happen here, guys. If you guys are just joining, CPI report obviously came out. It basically met the forecast at around 3.2%. So flatline for the core inflation year over year. Inflation rate year over year actually came down. Previous was 2.9. We actually came down to about 2.5, which was a solid move right there. We're kind of waiting to see what the markets, how they're reacting. We initially got a sell-off, then we saw a little bit of a pump, right? But now we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off. The markets are about to open up. What is going to happen here? Let's see. Let's see how the markets fluctuate here in the next 10, 15 seconds. All right, markets just opened up. Markets just opened up, guys. I need to get like George and start ringing the bell. All right, so the market's up. Obviously, we're going to see some fluctuations right now. The dollar's technically at flatlined right now. It's only up about a 0.06%. The VIX is down right now, which is volatility, obviously, for the actual market. So the looks like the Nasdaq right now is in the green very slightly, though, very, very slightly. And you can see, obviously, isn't that crazy? The market opens up immediately. Look at that. This is because of Bitcoin ETF inflows and outflows, right? You go back a year ago, we didn't have to, who cares when the market opened up, right? Bitcoin was just doing its own thing. Now that we're so embedded with the stock market, right? Wall Street, Bitcoin ETFs, you have a lot of people that have to wait till the market's opened up, whether they're going to be buying or selling. So you're going to see an influx in the prices for Bitcoin and potentially Ethereum as well, as it starts to build up a little bit more strength for their ETF. So you guys can see we're on the 5-minute, and we're looking at, if you're wondering what these lines are, these are going to be moving averages, simple moving averages, right? So this orange right here that we basically have found some support on for now is our 100-day SMA moving average. This is for our 5-minute chart. So you can see for right now, it looks like we have found some support as of now. Bitcoin currently sitting at around 56,740 to be exact. Kid Talk, what's going on, brother? I like that koala right there, bro. Welcome, bro. Real quick, guys, if you guys are just joining, make sure you guys slap those likes. Hit those likes. We're going to cover the CPI again here in a second. We're kind of just waiting to see what the markets are bringing for us for today. What do we have to look forward to? I want to jump right back into this real quick. Let's reload this and see if anything's changed. 83%. It's kind of moving back and forth, but you can see majority of the market is calling for that 0.25% reduction in interest rates. I just realized that my face was covering the NASDAQ and all that stuff. My bad, guys. It's like, where do I place myself? Just put myself down here. Back and forth for the market. I kind of want to open up some leverage trading, but it's like waiting to see what I should do. If we do run up, if Bitcoin runs back up and breaks above 57,000, I'll probably, let me get something set up here. I probably will open up some kind of a small short. I like to set up everything, so if it happens, I'm already like ready. I'll probably do what, like a 40x? What do you guys think? Should I go crazy and do a 100x? Just kidding. Should I do a 100x? I'm feeling a little ballsy today. No pun intended on that one. If I do a 100x, I'm not doing much. I'm not gonna. Oh, this is on Solana. Troy said, hey, Gina. Yes, I bought 3 or 4 times in the last week. I'll be buying some more this evening. Troy, bro, you do what you got to do, bro. You do what you got to do, brother. We appreciate the support all day, bro. We don't, obviously, we all have different financial situations, right? So you do whatever's best for yourself, brother. I guess they heard that I was going to be opening up a short. Now look. They're like, all right, Crip's going to be opening up a short. Let's go down now before he opens up that position. Khalil, what's going on, brother? Now I'm like, should I switch over to a long? Let's move over real quick to different time frames to see if we're bouncing off of any of these support levels. So I'm on the 1 hour, and you guys can see that this is so simple moving averages. As we move around our time frames, you guys can see these averages are going to move around as well. So this right here, this orange line, is indicating the 50-day moving average. And for right now, you guys can see we can't, even though we've formed some candlesticks above, it looks like we're hitting our head on the 50-day for right now. So maybe a good short might be around 56.8 possibly, or something. If we do break above that 56.8, might be a good short temporarily. Let me move over to the 2 hour. Let's see here. So when we move to the 2 hour, you can see that we have found some support. Obviously, remember, these moving averages are going to move around as I move in the time frames around. But as far as finding some support, it looks like our 100-day, this is on the 2 hour chart, is giving us some support. So possibly could open up a long somewhere at maybe 56, the lower 56,000s, somewhere around here. You guys can see this was as of last night, though. We broke down to about 56.1, 56.1. Right? Since then, we have not been able to break down any of those levels. But if we do possibly come down to around 56.1, maybe opening up a long. I'm a little hesitant to open up a long versus a short right now. Gina said no 100x. All right, I'll jump out. Pink, what's going on? Pink was asking, what's the CPI? What the CPI number we looking for? All right. So obviously what we're looking for is lower. We're looking for inflation to continue to move down, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking for inflation to continue to move down, whether it's, in small increments or not, right? So last month, our core inflation year over year was at 3.2. We were forecast to just basically meet that same number, 3.2. And when it came out today, we met 3.2, right? So what that means is inflation didn't get higher, right? But it didn't get lower. So with that being said, initially when we saw these numbers drop, the market started to drop, right? And then we saw a move towards the upside. But now that the traditional markets opened up, we're starting to see a move towards the downside again, right? And I think what it is that investors, like I said, we wanted to see inflation, even if it was at like 3.1. We always want to see inflation come down for right now, given that inflation is inflated right now, right? So, and that being said, also, inflation coming down will also give the feds a little bit more confidence in reducing interest rates, a little bit more aggressively. So, but I will tell you, it's all over the place, right? Because we're seeing articles, we cover them daily on here, that if we see more aggression as far as the Fed's reducing interest rates, right? If they go for a 0.5 or higher, it could spook the market and there could be a big sell-off, right? And then you see, well, actually, if they reduce it more aggressively, that could be more of a buying, or it could be more of a rally that we see in the markets, right? It's like all over the place right now. I think a lot of people aren't able to kind of pinpoint what the markets are actually going to do if we see, different scenarios right now. So, but with that being said, the FOMC meeting is only 7 days from now, guys. 7 days from now. So we will be getting an answer here in literally a week in regards to what we're going to be expecting for inflation. Did this website go down? All right, there it is. We're back up to 85%. This thing's fluctuating like Bitcoin is. I keep looking at my water and I ran out of water, guys. So looking at the actual market for today, SPX, the S&P, technically down 0.5%. NASDAQ is flatline. The Dow Jones is down about 1%. The DXY is up very small at around 0.08%. So nothing too crazy. You guys can see like Tesla. Yeah, I'm making sure my face wasn't in the way. Like Tesla is down today about 2%. Netflix 0.5%. Apple's actually up very, very small. Gold is down for right now, very small, kind of flatline. Silver, same thing. There really isn't a lot of movement right now in the markets, right? There's not a lot of movement. I think a lot of people are kind of just like, today's CPI report didn't really give us much answers, right? Given that nothing's changed with the inflation since last month, it really didn't give us any answers. I think if it would have been, higher inflation, Feds would have been more aggressive, right? If it had been lower inflation, who knows? Less aggression in regards to reducing interest rates. Does that trigger more aggression? This is where I think a lot of people are kind of just like, we don't know what the hell is going on right now with the markets. And I'm all over here just waiting to see what we're going to do as far as, are we opening up a long or are we opening up a short for right now? A lot of times when it's like this, I'm not going to lie, I usually will just say, you know what, I'm going to just sit on the side and I'm not even going to open up anything as of right now, because I'd rather just not make any money versus, get liquidated and end up losing money, right? Now, I did just jump into the 5 minutes, so these candles are going to be a little bit more dramatic, faster moving. I am still sticking with my goal. If we do break above 57, anything above 57, I am going to actually open up that short. But I'm going to take Gina's advice, and I'm not going to do a 100x. Let me just reduce this right now. Looking to see if anything's changed in the market, like alts or anything like that. Nothing really has changed. ICP's holding really well. Remember that W pattern that we were calling out? Look where it literally hit its head at. Pretty much at this support / resistance level that we have at around this $19 or $9.16. Looks like it came up, hit its head, basically got rejected as of now. Hungry said, I know it's not crypto, but it was that Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia is on a run. Let's pull Nvidia up. Even though for whatever reason, every time I go to pull it up, it's like the wrong chart. See, this isn't $2,000. What the hell? But I still feel like that's not the right chart. It is. It's at 111. Nvidia is running. That's crazy. Because if you really look at the market now, we've flopped over into the red. S&P's down, the Nasdaq's down, Dow Jones down. I mean, you guys can see all the cryptos in the red. Troy said Kaiser aluminum was going crazy too. Is it? I wonder if like materials, right? Because gold, even though gold's technically down right now, you know, a smidget, it's actually been at all-time highs. So I'm wondering if like, because silver right now is not doing bad. We can actually pull up those charts. What is this? Oh, sorry, I clicked into the wrong thing. I was like, what the hell? This is the gold chart. You can see gold is sitting above its 200-day moving average. Doesn't look bad, right? Doesn't look bad, but one thing I will say about gold is that you can see it looks like it is it's struggling. Look at this spot right here. It's basically come up and just continuously comes up and hits its head at around that 2530 mark, somewhere around there, and it keeps getting rejected, right? And then if we go over to like silver, same thing for silver in regards to above its 200-day moving average, right? Which is bullish, very bullish. When we go over to Bitcoin's 200-day moving average. Oh, I don't have, I'm like, where is it? Why is it on here? There it is. I'm like, where is the 200-day moving average? So when you look at the Bitcoin, our 200-day moving average, Bitcoin's below it and far below the 200-day moving average right now. Now, what I will say to come to the defense of Bitcoin is that Bitcoin saw such a massive, we're 13.5% below our 200-day moving average. Bitcoin had such a massive explosion in price, right? In 2023, the beginning of 2024. Gold really hadn't seen that. Gold moves very slowly, right? So it always hovers around its 200-day, right? You can see it always hovers around its 200-day, but you don't see like an explosion in price. There was a big move as of this year going into April, right? And what's funny is when gold started moving up, if you think about it, Bitcoin ran, this was Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at a local all-time highs. Actually, this was in March, right? We topped out and then Bitcoin started moving down, and gold has been moving up as of late. And literally, it's literally the same day that Bitcoin kind of topped out, gold started moving up. So like I said, I wanted to open up a short, but I did say that I would maybe consider opening up a long. I don't think I'd open up a long right now. I think opening up a long right now would be wouldn't be smart. Now the markets can reverse and turn right back around, but for right now I don't think that would be a good move. Because we're deep in the red now. Bitcoin's down 2.5%, right? And you can see it's taking all the alts down with it. Well, we're going to have to just wait. We'll monitor it. We'll see what today brings, guys. But other than that, I'm going to let you guys go. Obviously, we saw the CPI report for today. Wasn't the best, right? Wasn't the best. We basically met our forecast number, which pretty much, to simplify it, just means that inflation right now, year over year, is pretty much just flatline for right now. Bitcoin right now is going down. I should have opened up a short. I should have just opened up that short where I was at like 10 minutes ago. Troy said, why does crypto always seem to kind of dump on Wednesdays? I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidental. Maybe that you notice it's on Wednesdays. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, Troy, Bitcoin hasn't been dumping, but Bitcoin's been, steadily moving down for the last, few months. Right? So, I mean, it could, maybe you just notice it on Wednesdays, but it's also every other day as well. 2 hour. Yeah, why are we having, I know what you mean, why are we having red Wednesdays pretty much? Why are we having downward movement on Wednesdays particularly? I haven't particularly noticed that, right? Because I can't even tell you what we were doing last Wednesday, but I mean, it just could be coincidental that Wednesdays, because we're obviously seeing downward movement right now, obviously because of the CPI report, right? So, and it just so happens to fall on a Wednesday. So I think it's just coincidental that you notice that. So a couple of things now that I'm looking at the charts real quick before we do go, you can see that, Bitcoin was making, we were on an upward trend, even if it was very short term. Upward trend. We did break above and get into this channel where we were consolidating. But if you look as of late, right here, you can see that we technically, if you look at this circle right here, you can see that we technically, we really have been struggling to break above this 56.7 and stay above it, right? Each one of these candles have either hit its head or we briefly broke above and we keep getting rejected, right? So this could be an indication that we might be coming back down to retest maybe some of these areas down here at around the 55,000 area. That's going to be our next real big spot for some solid support if we are going to see a breakdown in the crypto market. So if you are on the fence right now to maybe buy in on some of your favorite projects, maybe having a little bit of patience, you might be able to catch a nice little dip and accumulate. Larry just said, did the CPI numbers come out yet? Sorry, I am not able to have volume. If you can, put it in the chat. Gina, we'll be doing that members only stream. Maybe we'll do a members only stream tonight. We're gonna do one. It's gonna be either. I'm waiting right now. Either it's gonna be tonight or we might do it tomorrow. I'll let you know though in the Discord for sure. Larry said he has no volume, but he wants to know what did the CPI report. What happened? If anybody wants to type that in there, here I'll put it in the chat. CPI. Year over year. Look at Bitcoin, guys. $55.8. Look at this. Let's get a little bit more dramatic. Look at this move. So the move was opening up a short when we ran up to about 57.1. That was the move. And like I said, if we drop down to some of these levels, remember I said I wanted to open up a long. I don't know if opening up a long right now would be good, because of the momentum towards the downside is just so, intense right now, that even if you see some kind of a relief and maybe some kind of a bounce, and we do maybe see somewhat of a bounce towards the upside, I think it's going to continue towards the down. Just because you can see across the board, now the VIX is actually up 1.6%. So if you're wondering, the VIX is basically volatility. It's volatility on the stock market, right? So if the VIX is up, that usually means the market is down. And when the VIX is down, it usually means the market is up, right? So that's a big indicator as well. The VIX right now is up. It was technically down like 3%, literally like 10 minutes ago. And now it has jumped into the green. And looking at the actual stock market, we're pretty much in the red for the S&P, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones. The dollar is in the green. It's not really up like crazy, but the dollar is up right now for today at $101.70. And like I said, we might see these little relief green candles briefly, just to kind of fake out and most likely continue towards the downside for right now. So for right now, what am I calling as far as some support? We could, guys, if it continues to be where we're at right now with this downward pressure, we could see Bitcoin coming down to around 55K, possibly, before we find some support. And I will be watching this, because if we do drop down to this 55, that might indicate where we might come down, right? And maybe see some kind of a relief bounce. And if we can't get a hold of it, we might come back down and retest and maybe hover around, or potentially break below this $55,000 mark right here. So Troy said you should have taken that short, bro, right? and that was 100x, bro. That would have been, I probably would have been up like literally a few 100% right now. Just off that $20, that 100x probably would have been like $150, $200 off of just that little ass move, right? Isn't that crazy? But what's crazy is you're like, well, why don't you just open it up now? Because they're watching, and if I open up that short now, someone's gonna throw in like $10 billion in Bitcoin, and this thing's gonna bounce up to 57K again, and I'm gonna get liquidated. Look at this downward movement, guys. What is going on? Let's see if there's any news here. 14 minutes ago, U.S. presidential debate spurs risk-off sentiment in crypto market. Oh, shit. Excuse my language. Bitcoin death cross imminent. Let's see here. Let me pull up my other chart real quick. Guys, I don't think we can leave yet. I don't think we can leave just yet, guys. Is this the chart that I had up? What the hell is this? Oh, you know why? Because it's in stocks. All right, there we go. So real quick, guys, I wanted to explain. So this article right here that I was looking at. So they're basically talking about a death cross, right? A potential death cross. So this death cross, what this is it's when the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages of Bitcoin are progressively converged, right? So what it is that you have the green, which is going to be your 200-day, and then you have the 50-day, which is in the red, right? You guys can see that we are starting to get closer to where it looks like we're going to have some kind of a death cross if things, if things continue to move towards the downside. We're going to see some kind of a cross between these two moving averages, which usually always indicates a very big significant move towards the downside, believe it or not, right? So, and we'll get back into the article. As the chart illustrates, which raises questions about the asset's potential price movement because it typically indicates impending downward pressure. Like I said, a death cross frequently causes traders to exercise increased caution. This pattern indicates that Bitcoin may be about to enter a prolonged bear market, which I don't believe that necessarily. Nevertheless, it is important to consider the larger market environment because death crosses do not always result in let's see here, appreciable price drops. As of right now, the price of Bitcoin is hovering around 56K, which that is not anymore. We're down below that. In the near future, it will be important to monitor a few key price levels. And you know what that also reminds me of is when they're looking at the death cross, I believe they're looking at, let me see here. Is it the monthly or they're looking at the daily? Yeah, I think this is the daily. Yep. We'll see, guys. Did we just get a bounce? So we dropped down to about 55,600. Well, we'll just have to see how this plays out, guys. But obviously, we are seeing some downward movement for today, obviously, given what the CPI report that's dropped. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. We will be back on later on today. So, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that notification bell. Again, we will be back around 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, maybe a little bit before then. So, other than that, guys, thank you so much for spending the day with me, spending your morning. I hope you guys have a productive day, guys. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys in a few hours, all right? Thank you. See ya.